and resolves to record its sincere appreciation for his outstanding service, monumental contribution to the nation and Africa, and his indelible legacy as a patriot, democrat, and visionary leader. Honorable Senators, I just want to confer before I open the floor for contribution. Since every senator here wants to make a contribution, we need to limit the time, and I propose 6 minutes, which is adequate for everyone to make their contribution. I think we've consulted with both sides of the leadership, and reading from the mood of the House, Senator Crystal, people are in agreement that we should at least limit the time. Senator, you do realize it's a special sitting, and we're limited with time. And if we don't manage our time, we'll not be able to finish, and not everybody will be able to make a contribution. So in consideration of everybody, I think it's only fair that we limit the time. Honorable Senator, I will call upon Senator Ole Kina to make his contribution.
Mr. Speaker, I do not know where to begin. All I know is that the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga was not only my party leader, a personal friend, but also a father figure. Mr. Speaker, when I got back from the United States of America and I wanted to run for office, he's the first person that I went to see, and we discussed about my position. And from that moment, he became a father figure to me. He also became a mentor and someone who really believed in me. I know when I say that, I'm speaking on behalf of the entire Maasai community, who also viewed him not only as a father figure, but also as a mentor and a defender. For many years, our community has been terrorized, stigmatized, their land rights taken away from them. But the Right Honorable Prime Minister stood firmly in defense of the Maasai land rights. He defended the conservation of the Mau forest. I remember when he said that he'd rather even go and sell mandazi in Kibera than give in to the issues of the Mau forest. Those are words that resonate not only with myself, but with the entire community. March 6th this year, Madam Speaker, actually March 5th, the Right Honorable Prime Minister called me and told me that he wanted to have a meeting in Narok with the Maasais, and he asked me whether I could host a meeting in my home. And that was on the 5th. The next day, on the 6th, he came and we had a meeting when he spoke to us about the importance of national unity, the importance of patience and coming together. That was the time when this country was actually almost at the brink of collapse. And after he completed the consultation with my people, the Maasai, the next day on the 7th, he chose me to be an MC in the reconciliation meeting between UDA and ODM, to be able to come up with an intention to work together. What the Right Honorable Prime Minister did then really explained the kind of a person that he was. He was a person who put the nation first rather than his own personal interest. He's a person who believed in reconciliation. He's a person who wanted this country to be able to survive. And today, with the short few minutes that we have to eulogize him, I just want to speak to Kenyans and say what Raila did should be our moving spirit on a daily basis. This country is greater than one person. This country is greater than one particular tribe. This country is where it is because people sacrificed. Raila sacrificed, and he brought this country together. I want to plead with my brothers and sisters from both sides of the aisle and both sides of the divide that we cannot afford to take this country into the dogs, that we must shelve our personal interests, our egos, and unite this country. All of us, the 47 counties, must now work on a daily basis in the spirit of Raila. Every time when you think that you know better than anyone else, remember that there are those who came before you and sacrificed. And that is the reason why most of us are standing here. To be honest with you, on that day, I think it was August the 15th, if I would have died at Bomas, I would have died knowing that I got the spirit of courage from a man who was sacrificed, who has been tortured, a man who on a constant daily basis must hold an handkerchief to be able to wipe tears that oozed from his eyes. Kenya, we have a beautiful country. Raila sacrificed. When I sat down with Raila in most occasions, maybe sharing a drink or just going for shopping in Dubai or somewhere else, Raila would tell me that one day there will be boats and ships all the way from Egypt to Africa. I want to end by saying the following, that Raila, I will miss you. I pray to God to prepare a wonderful place for you. And with the words from my people, Tepetai.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Today, Kenya mourns not merely a man, but a monumental chapter in the democratic history of this nation. Madam Speaker, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga was a democratic space in this country. He's a towering figure who stood at the confluence of history and destiny. Madam Speaker, Raila endured imprisonment, suffering, torture that no other political person today can stand and say, I have gone through such tormentation. Yet, he refused to surrender his conviction to deliver Kenya's democracy in a way that we are today enjoying in this country. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, sir, the frequency of the change of the seat is a bit alarming. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, to some of us from the north, the Asals, the marginalized, Raila represents the true voice of hope and inclusivity. Mr. Speaker, he has relentlessly voiced his concern for the inclusion of the most unfortunate people across the corners of this country. Baba has relentlessly fought for the democratic space in this country, so much such that every time despair stares at this nation and the issue of political hopelessness, the true and clear present danger of disintegration as a nation, Raila has always come out, held this country together, and held the fabric of this country together and provided new hope. Mr. Speaker, that new hope was only possible from somebody who has earned favor with God, the kind of fanatical following the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga enjoys, will remain in the history of this nation unparalleled, to really fit into the shoes of Raila Amolo Odinga. Mr. Speaker, sir, Baba was a master of political reincarnation. Every time we go through a general election where people come together and say, it's done for Raila, he has always reincarnated himself and presented to be a force that is impossible to whisk away. Mr. Speaker, we stand with a lot of respect. We stand with the family of the late Raila Amolo Odinga, Mama Aida, the friends, the nation, the members of ODM party, and the President of this republic, as we mourn and pray to Almighty Allah to give, during this testing and trying time, to give all of us in Kenya and the closest family members Mr. Speaker, as I conclude in the interest of managing time as you've guided, I would like to say, Baba, safari yako hapa duniani imekwisha. Lakini urithi wako utabaki mioyoni mwetu kwa miaka mingi zijazo katika nchi hii. Mr. Speaker, nataka kusema, may Raila rest in peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Professor Kamar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to join other senators in eulogizing a great man for this nation. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of my family, myself, and the many friends that the late Right Honorable Raila has from Eldoret, to pass our deepest condolences to the family, to Mama Haida, the children, to our brother, Senator Uhuru, and to the entire family, and to remind them that this is a man who gave himself to the nation, and we share the grief with them. Mr. Speaker, this is a man of great characteristics. This is a man that was extremely unique. And even as we, Mr. Speaker, register our appreciation, we really must thank God for the way this man was planted in this nation to do what he has managed to do, to serve a nation without thinking about himself. Mr. Speaker, this is a man who sacrificed a lot for the nation, not only to bring out democracy, but to see to it that democracy is practiced. Mr. Speaker, this is a man who believed and always said that Kenya is bigger than any individual. And he personally practiced it. He practiced it through generations and through different heads of state under very different conditions. During the KANU days of the late President Moi, he was ready to sacrifice NDP to join hands with KANU to bring peace and stability in the nation. Mr. Speaker, after the elections of the year 2007, where he strongly believed that he had won, he was ready to go for a nusu mkate. And he confessed many times that he's ready to sacrifice because the country is bigger than himself. Mr. Speaker, during the Uhuru time, His Excellency President Uhuru's time, he was ready to go for a handshake, again for the peace of the nation, and so that this country can progress. Mr. Speaker, only recently, the same Right Honorable Amolo Odinga was ready to go for a broad-based government with the current government of His Excellency William Ruto. Again, with the same principle of the country is bigger than one individual in this country. He has left a lesson for all of us, a lesson that we must carry on with, that when it comes to situations that may look tricky, situations that we may not understand, as Kenyans, Mr. Speaker, let's remember that the country is bigger than any of us, so that we can share in this kind of sacrifice and also sacrifice the little that we can do to make sure that we have a country that is good for everyone, that is fit for everyone, and that everyone, Mr. Speaker, can enjoy.
Place in my home, Honorable Speaker, and from that we continue to be one, we continue to be cohesive. We need to love our country. Outside there, in Africa, country is seen as a very progressive and economically stable country. We need to love our nation, we need to love our country above our own self, Honorable Speaker, because very many people who come out from outside the country, they come and work in Kenya. Most of them don't even want to go back because we are very warming, welcoming people, Honorable Speaker. And on behalf of my family, the people of Elgeyo-Marakwet County, we want to pray that may the soul of our elder brother, Dr. Raila Amolo Odinga, Honorable Speaker, rest in peace. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to give tribute.
Senator Catherine Muma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity, and I'm requesting you allow me to read my tribute to Baba. My Baba, our Baba, Kenyan statesman number one, the great human rights defender, the conscience of this nation. I am heartbroken, I am numbed, yet even in this grief, I know your life and legacy is immortal, etched into the conscience of a nation you loved more than yourself. Your sacrifice for this nation was total. You endured suffering that most would not: house arrest, jail, insults, demonization. Your family members were also subjected to psychological abuse, including stigmatization and discrimination, especially during the one-party era. These acts did not kill your resolve to keep marching forward for freedoms and rights. You nurtured leadership at every level. You took our hands, women and men alike, molding citizens into servants of the people. You built and led a movement that boasts of thousands of officials. Honorable members, ODM is a strange party or movement that has more than 200,000 officials. Every polling center has officials because our party leader knew that he was nurturing leadership and he wanted space for everyone to be a leader. You fought for inclusion of women, persons with a disability, and of communities too often pushed to the margins. You insisted that Kenya must be a home for all her children. Honorable members, if you look at our nominations, National Assembly, the Senate, Nairobi County, you'll find that we are the party that has membership from all corners of this nation. Your social democratic convictions anchored your leadership. You defended human rights fiercely, especially for the vulnerable and voiceless. You stood by the constitution we passed in 2010, even when you believed we could have done better on some aspects of devolution. And you did so because you respected the rule of law and the will of the people. Regardless of opposition you faced within your circles and from those who opposed you incessantly, you remained steadfastly a Kenyan first, the voice of reason in stormy times. You saw farther than most, like a giraffe with a long neck and with long sight. You saw past smoke screens and petty schemes that sometimes and oftentimes were brought around to block others. You looked over the hedges of isolation and into the broad fields of a united nation. Whatever opportunities came your way, you shared them beyond the selfish, beyond the short term, always with Kenya in mind. Not once at a personal level, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, but 5 times you reached out and lifted me up. You recognized my contributions when others would not, called me out on my capabilities and ushered me into rooms where you believed I could add value and represent well. I will never forget. My prayer is to leave even a little fraction of your example, to speak truth, defend rights, lift others, and listen to people's voices. May the Lord in his mercy forgive any human shortcomings that you may have had, because Baba, you deserve to be in the best place. May he welcome you to a place of true rest and honor. As for those you leave behind, we will carry your spirit. We will tend the trees you planted, grow its branches wide, and bear fruit enough to feed generations, because you are a father of generations. Rest in peace, Baba. Rest in power, statesman of our hearts. Catherine Muma.
Senator John Deritu.
Asante Bwana Spika kunipa fursa hii. Nataka kuungana na maseneta wengine kuleta risala zangu za rambirambi na za watu wa Laikipia kwa familia ya mwenda zake Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga. Bwana Spika, inapaswa ikumbukwe wazi ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Raila Odinga yeye ndiye amepigania ugatuzi kwa hali na mali, kwa sababu yeye mwenyewe alijua ya kwamba Wakenya wote wanapaswa kupata huduma, na ndiposa akawa mstari wa mbele kupigania ugatuzi, na katiba hii tunayojivunia wakati huu alikuwa katika mstari wa mbele kuipigania. Kwa hivyo tunamkumbuka kwa kujitolea kwake. Bwana Spika, vile vile inapaswa julikane wazi vile ambavyo Mheshimiwa Waziri Mkuu Raila Odinga alivyopenda wananchi. Na ni dhahiri shahiri Bwana Spika, kwa sababu hata siku ya leo kutoka katika uga wa ndege wa kimataifa wa Jomo Kenyatta moja kwa moja mpaka katika uwanja wa Kasarani, kila mahali unapata kumefurika bila watu kujiuliza ama kuchoka, kwa sababu walianza kupanga hizi foleni asubuhi na mpaka wakati huu wako pale pale kwa sababu ya upendo walionao, kwa sababu yeye mwenyewe alionyesha upendo na kujitolea. Bwana Spika, kwa upande wa mazingira hakuachwa nyuma, kwa sababu inakumbukwa vizuri katika huu msitu wa Mau yeye alijitolea na kusema ya kwamba mazingira yanapaswa yalindwe, na akajitolea kimasomaso, hata akaenda huko kupanda miti. Kwa hivyo ni mtu aliyependa nchi yake na vile vile mazingira. Bwana Spika, Yeye amekuwa ni mwanaharakati ambaye amepigania nchi hii iweze kupata demokrasia, Bwana Spika. Alipigana nchi hii ilipokuwa na chama kimoja cha kiimla, akapigana mpaka tukapata vyama vingi, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo hilo ni jambo lingine lake ambalo linakumbukwa na Wakenya, ndiposa wanahuzuni katika kila pembe kwa sababu amemuuza mtu kwa kiwango chake. Bwana Spika, tunajua kwamba amepitia katika masaibu mengi kwa sababu ya wananchi wa Kenya, na hakuchoka. Alijitolea mpaka mahali alisema hata kama ni maisha yake yachukuliwe, lakini yeye atabaki mstari wa mbele kutetea mwananchi wa kawaida. Kwa hivyo sisi kama viongozi, kile tunapaswa kujiuliza, Bwana Spika, laiti ingelikuwa ni sisi, tutakumbukwa kwa njia ipi kwa yale mambo ambayo tunayofanya? Kwa hivyo msimamo wake na miaka mingi ambayo amekuwa katika mstari wa mbele kutetea demokrasia na kutetea wananchi wa Kenya, tutakumbukwa vipi? Vile vile, Bwana Spika, alipopata wadhifa wa waziri wa barabara, inaonekana wazi mambo aliyotenda. Thika Super Highway, Bwana Spika, vile vile kupanua barabara ukitoka katika uwanja wa ndege ukielekea Southern and Northern bypass, zile kazi alizofanya. Kwa hivyo alipopatiwa jukumu alifanya bila kuangalia nyuma, na vile vile akateuliwa hata katika Afrika nzima kuwa anaangalia mambo ya barabara, Bwana Spika, kwa sababu alionekana ni mtu ambaye hakuzembea katika kazi aliyopewa. Kwa hivyo tumempoteza kigogo wa siasa ambaye amewacha alama katika nchi hii yetu kwa kazi ambayo imeitenda. Kwa hivyo mimi ningependa kuambia familia yake, chama cha ODM, ya kwamba Raila ni kiongozi ambaye kila mtu alimjua ni kiongozi chupavu. Hata ijapokuwa tulikuwa katika mashindano naye, sisi ni ndugu na dada. Yale yalikuwa mashindano, kwa sababu Kenya ni moja na sisi sote tunapaswa kuendelea mbele. Bwana Spika, nakumbuka kwa uchungu mwingi kwa sababu ni juzi tu mheshimiwa aliyekuwa waziri mkuu alitembelea Laikipia alipokuwa amekuja mazishi ya mheshimiwa Matthew Rembruken ambaye alikuwa ni mbunge wa Laikipia ya Kaskazini. Kwa hivyo ni kwa uchungu mwingi sisi kama Wakenya tukimuomboleza shujaa. Tunakumbuka waliposimama na akasema Kibaki tosha. Alitembea sehemu nyingi za Mlima Kenya na alipewa jina la Kikikuyu kusema jamba, ambalo najua Medho atakapokuwa akichangia atasema jamba inamaanisha nini na Kikuyu, kwa sababu hilo ni mtu ambaye tulimdhamini sana na tukampenda kwa yale mambo alivyofanya. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, mimi sitaki kuongea zaidi ya hapo, ni kusema tu Mungu aiweke roho ya mheshimiwa mahali pema peponi, na tutamkumbuka, na mambo aliyofanywa itaandikwa katika kumbukumbu na itaandikwa na wino usiofutika, ndio tusije tukafuta au kusahau. Na tukienda kusahau tutakuwa tukisoma zile daftari na tunakumbuka kuna Mkenya ambaye alikuwa mashuhuri, alisimama wima kidete kutetea hali na mali ya Wakenya. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Eric Mugeni.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Speaker, I first want to express my sorrow and deep sympathy to Mama Ida and the Odinga family, especially the children who have lost their dear father, Rosemary, Winnie, and Raila Jr., and Raila's siblings, our colleague, Senator Oburu, our other colleague in the other house, Honorable Ruth Odinga, and the entire family. We know, Mr. Speaker, the pain of losing a father, and a very dear father at that. So on behalf of myself, on behalf of my family, on behalf of the people of the great county of Nyamira, we say pole to the Odinga family, and may the Almighty God comfort the family during this very difficult time. Mr. Speaker, I will mourn Raila Odinga at two levels. First, as a personal friend at personal level, and secondly, at political level. Mr. Speaker, I speak as one who can proudly identify myself as a friend, personal friend of the late Raila Amolo Odinga. Mr. Speaker, anybody with whom you have shared visitation, a person who has visited you to your home and shared a meal with you, a person who has opened his home to you and you have shared a meal is a personal friend, Mr. Speaker. I've had the privilege, Mr. Speaker, of hosting Raila Amolo Odinga at my home. We have shared a meal together, Mr. Speaker. I've also had the privilege of being invited to his home in Nairobi. He has also invited me, and we have shared a meal, not with a group of people, but just the two of us in his home. So I consider him as a friend. So I speak today also feeling that I've been orphaned by somebody who has been a father figure to me, somebody I could look up to on very difficult situations. We worked very closely with Raila Odinga, Mr. Speaker, when I was serving this country at various levels. How, Mr. Speaker, Raila charmed his way into my heart is that in 2007 March, about 30 minutes after I'd been elected as chairman of Law Society of Kenya, a call came through my phone, and when I received the phone, it was Raila Odinga calling me, as he told me that time, from Western Kenya, just to congratulate me and wish me well in my tenure as chair of Law Society of Kenya. And from that time, that moment, I identified him as a friend, and we worked together when we were both in government, I as the chair of ethics and anti-corruption, and Raila as a prime minister. We worked very, very closely. So this is a personal loss to me as a person, and we pray that the Almighty God may give us the grace to bear the loss that we have suffered collectively. Second, Mr. Speaker, Raila Amolo Odinga has also been my mentor politically. For all the time that the late Honorable Raila Odinga has been alive and kicking, I've identified as a politician with the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM. In the three various times that I've ran for a political office, 2013, 2017, 2022, I've contested as a member of the Orange Democratic Movement. Why so, Mr. Speaker? I personally connected in terms of ideology with Raila Odinga, Mr. Speaker. His quest for a more democratic society, his quest to see that there was respect for human rights, his quest for the respect of our Constitution, more so the separation of powers, for an independent judiciary, for an assertive parliament, that connected with me ideologically, Mr. Speaker. That's why I made a personal choice to seek an elective seat through the Orange Democratic Movement, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I hope we will all remember, Mr. Speaker, that the last address that was done on this floor by Honorable Raila Odinga, Mr. Speaker, was a call for us, senators, to step forward into action and support the constitutional amendment bill that is meant to not only strengthen devolution, but also strengthen the role of this Senate, so that we can truly be defenders of devolution. Mr. Speaker, I want to make an appeal to the leadership of this country to mourn Raila Amolo Odinga in action, Mr. Speaker. If we indeed love this guy, this gentleman who has fallen, Mr. Speaker, we should all support the constitutional amendment bill that he personally made an appeal to us, Mr. Speaker, to support. Mr. Speaker, when President John F. Kennedy died in 1964, the president who took over, Lyndon Johnson, made a personal appeal to fulfill the wishes of President John F. Kennedy by supporting the civil.
Yes, 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, it was that single action of commitment from Lyndon Johnson that made the Americans to enact the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I'm calling upon all of us, Mr. Speaker, to have a bipartisan approach, to have courage, to have conviction, Mr. Speaker, so that we ensure that the constitutional amendment bill that is supported by the Senate sees the light of the day. Rest thee well, Baba, an icon of democracy in Africa. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator. Honorable Senators, before I call the next Senator to contribute to the motion on the floor, allow me to invoke Standing Order Number 1 to acknowledge and recognize a senior citizen of this country who is seated in the Speaker's gallery. Allow me to acknowledge and recognize the Honorable Julia Odhiambo, a renowned veteran politician and academician, Honorable Julia Odhiambo, who was recognized by the Senate in the sittings in Busia, had come to Parliament today to pay her last respects to the late Right Honorable Raila Odinga lying in state. An event, as you are aware, Honorable Senators, was moved to Moi Sports Center, Kasarani. Honorable Senators, accompanying Honorable Julia Odhiambo is Dr. Josephine Odhiambo, who has served as Kenya's ambassador to UN in New York. Please acknowledge her in the usual Senate tradition. Thank you and welcome. Senator Danson Mungatana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also contribute to this motion. Mr. Speaker, the people of Tana River and myself and family, we want to join the rest of Kenyans in expressing our deepest sympathies, condolences to the family of the late Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Mr. Speaker, a lot of people have said what Raila Odinga did at the national level. But Mr. Speaker, as you know, myself, Professor Kamar, the Honorable Majimbo Kalasinga, the Honorable Mukami, the Honorable Pasaris, we were chosen by this Parliament to represent Kenya at the continental parliament called Pan-African Parliament. And Mr. Speaker, I would like to say a few things about what Raila did at the continental level. Mr. Speaker, I have the condolences of the President of Pan-African Parliament, who is the equivalent of our Speaker, and I have shared that condolence message with all of us, the gist of which is to say the Right Honorable Prime Minister was a person who understood the power of negotiation and the power of dialogue for the good of the people. That was the gist of what our Speaker, President Chief Fortune Charumbira, has asked us to convey through the Senate to the Republic of Kenya. This is what the Parliament of Africa thinks of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. But Mr. Speaker, I want to say more. In 2018, the Honorable Raila Odinga was appointed as the AU High Representative in charge of infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, that is a high position that works across the continent. Mr. Speaker, the High Representative for Infrastructure represents the African Union Commission in very important projects that have continental impact. Mr. Speaker, many people speak about the LAPSSET project, but do not connect it to the tenure of office of Raila Odinga as AU representative in charge of infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, that was a multi-billion project connecting Lamu Port, South Sudan, and Kenya and Ethiopia along that transport corridor. And the idea was to make connectivity viable and to increase the connectivity within that region. Mr. Speaker, Raila Odinga used his influence to make sure that that project was put amongst the priority projects that was to be executed within the continent of Africa. He also went a step further. Mr. Speaker, they made sure that the African Development Bank and the AU NEPAD mechanism for funding became available for that project to take off. Mr. Speaker, that's not the only project he championed. He also championed for super connectivity in terms of digital connectivities. He had a vision to create a super highway connecting Africa so that business can be done more cheaply across the continent of Africa. Mr. Speaker, Raila, in his capacity as AU representative, High Representative for Infrastructure, he championed the creation and the push to have a trans-African continental highway so that somebody who lives Cape Town can be able to go all the way to Cairo, or somebody who lives Lagos can be able to cross all the way to the port of Mombasa. Mr. Speaker, these are some of the few projects that were associated with Raila when he served at the continental level. And Africa honors him today, and this Senate honors him today. Mr. Speaker, finally, I wanted to say that in his capacity at the local level, Raila has taught us that you can have the smallest position and make it count. He was just the deputy director of the original Ford, but to date, we don't remember who was the chairman of Ford at that time because of the influence and what he did with that position. He was the first minister, Mr. Speaker, who was able to go out as the Minister for Roads and Infrastructure. He taught Kenyans that ministers are not supposed to be staying in Nairobi in their big offices. He was the first minister who would go to roads, inspect the project, and hold those people who are given those contracts accountable. And we saw it for the first time, and ministers after that followed. He made those offices to count. We say in our tradition.
1 minute.
We say in our tradition that we don't praise people who pass on, but we learn from them. He taught us that any position, it is how you use it. You can be a clerk in the office of the DC, but be as effective as the pastor in the church or as the local MP. So let us, as Kenyans, work to emulate what he left us behind. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I thank you, and may his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Agnes Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to join the rest of my colleagues in support of this motion for eulogizing a statesman in this country who has really done more than we can even say in these 3 minutes that we have. Let me, Mr. Speaker, start by conveying my sincere condolences to the family of Raila Amolo Odinga, Mama Aida, the children, our colleague, and Oburu, and the ODM family, and Kenya as a whole, because his family and his party are not the only people who are mourning. We are all mourning as a nation. Mr. Speaker, His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga has left a landmark in this country. He has fought for democracy. He has fought for the constitution that we are celebrating and enjoying today. He has fought for freedom of speech. Many are the times he was jailed many are the times he was beaten and suffered for this country. He has shown to be a leader who was heartless for himself, but went out for the people. Many are the times he stood out and fought for the local mwananchi when he saw oppression, when he saw things were not going the same way they should go. He stood out and called for demonstrations. Mr. Speaker, this is the only man I know who has not been a president, but he could call for a holiday, public holiday, and people don't go to work. Because people listened to him and they knew, Kenyans knew that he was the best of the people in his heart. And that is why he did all this. The devolution that we are enjoying today, he fought for it. And it's my prayer that the current president will make sure that the vision that Raila Amolo Odinga had for this country, and especially where devolution is concerned, will be fulfilled for his own fulfillment. And I also would request that Mashujaa Day be named Raila Day, so that every year when we are celebrating Mashujaa Day, we call it a Raila Day, so that he can be known and remembered by all Kenyans for that. Mr. Speaker, I remember him in 2021 when I vied for, Mr. Speaker, can I be heard in silence?
Honorable Senators, let us hear the Senator in silence.
Thank you, and spare my minute. Mr. Speaker, I remember in 2021 when I vied for senatorial seat in Machakos in by-election, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga withdrew his candidate and said they are all going to support me. And maybe that is how I came through. In 2022, he had always had a candidate in Machakos for the senatorial seat, and he withdrew and said, Mama Kavindu Tosha in Machakos. As you know, we were all together in Azimio with His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka of Wiper Patriotic Front Party. Mr. Speaker, the shoes that Raila Amolo Odinga has left are big shoes. And I pray that God will give us somebody who can fit into those shoes and who can stand for the rights of the local mwananchi who is suffering in this country. And Mr. Speaker, when Raila went into bread-based government, he had his ambition, and there are the things that he said should be done. And I pray that the current president will fulfill them, so that even as the soul of Raila rests, he rests knowing that what he wanted and what he intended to achieve as a broad-based will be accomplished. May God rest his soul in eternal peace. May God be with Kenyans even as we mourn, and may he bring rest to Kenyans. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Alexander Mundigi.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa nafasi niweze kuchangia na kuleta rambirambi za watu wa Embu County, na pia mimi nikiwa deputy party leader wa Democratic Party katika muungano wa Kenya Kwanza. Yangu ni kusema ni pole sana kwa watu wa Kisumu County na pia kwa familia ya Raila Amolo Odinga na pia kwa ODM na party leader kwa yale ilitendeka. Yangu ni kusema pole sana tukiwa watu wa Embu, kwa sababu sisi tukiona kama watu wa Embu, Raila Amolo Odinga alikuwa shujaa, na alikuwa shujaa kwa kupigania mwananchi, na mpango alikuwa ataka mwananchi aweze kufaidika nayo, na amekufa akipigania mwananchi, kwa sababu mwananchi, agenda ya mwananchi ni mambo ya maji iwe masinani, ni mambo ya parapara. Alikuwa ataka parapara itoke kutoka Mombasa ikunje Nairobi na iende mpaka Marapa, na mambo ya SGR na pia mambo ya kilimo, ndio kila mtu wote iwe ni pesa masinani. Bwana Spika, huyu Shujaa amejaribu mambo mengi sana. Nakumbuka hata kuna wakati alikuwa G7 na haikuwezekana, lakini walishindwa na akakumbali. Bwana Spika amepitia mengi, kwa sababu nakumbuka wakati wa zamani kulikuwa na orange na banana na orange ikashinda. Na pia nakumbuka Bwana Spika walipambana sana na rais wa zamani Bwana Spika ambaye ni Daniel Toroitich Moi, na wakang'ang'ana sana, lakini kwa sababu yeye alikuwa shujaa, akifika pahali ama ameshindwa ameshindana, unakuta anarudi chini kwa sababu ya mwananchi, na baadaye tunasikia historia walikuja wakaungana na rais wa Kenya na wakawa wanafanya kazi pamoja. Bwana Spika, huyu shujaa wakati wa serikali ya ambaye ni Mwai Kibaki, mwenye chama ile ambaye niko nacho siku ya leo, pia wakang'ang'ana. Mwai Kibaki wakati Bwana Spika alitangazwa mshindi, na pia wakang'ang'ana sana, lakini baadaye akakumbali kurudi chini juu ya mwananchi aweze kufaidika. Hakuwa hivyo ni njia ya kujionyesha, hakuwa anapigana juu ya yeye Bwana Spika, na hakuwa anapigana juu ya watu ya Kisumu, na hakuwa anapigana juu ya watu ya region moja. Alikuwa apigania Kenya, wakakuja wakaungana pamoja na serikali ikaendelea vizuri. Hapo hapo wakawa wameenda kwa uchaguzi na rais ambaye ni Uhuru Kenyatta, pia wakang'ang'ana na Uhuru Kenyatta akatangazwa, na pia hapo ikawa imeleta shinda, na akawa wakati anapigana Bwana Spika alikuja akarudi chini na akawa wanafanya kazi pamoja. Ni ushujaa mkubwa, kwa sababu katika ulimwengu sio watu wawili Bwana Spika wanaweza kubali mambo kama hiyo, ni kujipiga kifua mpaka dakika mwisho. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, mimi ni asante kwa wale watu na pia kusema ni pole. Bwana Spika, nakumbuka hivi karibuni wakati serikali ya Kenya Kwanza ilikuja ikawa imetangazwa mshindi, ikawa kuna mgogoro wa hapa na pale, watu wengine wakaanza kuingilia, lakini Bwana Spika, serikali ambaye ni ya William Ruto ya serikali ya Kenya Kwanza na pia makamu wake Profesa Abraham Kithure wakaa chini, ikawa wanaona ni vizuri juu ya amani ipatikane. Bwana Spika, kulitokea vita ya watu wengine mpaka leo kazi yao ni mdomo tu na kutaka kuwaanyisha watu wa Kenya. Bwana Spika, walikuja wakaa pamoja, akaona kumbali, wakawa waende barabara moja. Sasa nashukuru sana kwa serikali ya William Ruto, mwenyewe akaona ni vizuri apiganie apate kiti ya Umoja wa Afrika, lakini haikuwezekana. Tulikuwa tumeomba sana aweze kupata ile kiti, lakini Bwana Spika, wakati kiti ilikosa, akarudi hapa, hakuleta shinda, akaanza kusema mambo ya amani na kuunganisha nchi ya Kenya. Kwa hiyo Bwana Spika, nikiwa senator wa Embu County, mimi ni asante sana kwa ODM na rais wa Kenya William Ruto na makamu wako. Yangu ni kuomba Rais Prime Minister amewaza sisi tukiwa kitu kimoja, kaunti 47, na kwa sababu alikuwa na ajenda zake ambaye alikuwa anataka itimizwe, mambo ya parapara, mambo ya maji, mambo ya afya na mambo ya pesa mfukoni, ningeomba watu wa ODM tafadhali tuungane pamoja, ndio tuweze kuunganisha mtu wa Kenya, tuweze kwenda parapara moja, ndio tuweze kuona economy ya kaunti zetu 47 itaenda namna gani. Bwana Spika, ya mwisho, nakumbuka siku ya mwisho miezi kadhaa alikuja akakaa Senate akitaka kuona vile tunafanya kazi na vile anataka Senate iwe modified, iwe ni hapa house, na tukakaa hapa tukaongea na yeye tukasalimiana, ni kama alikuja kutuambia kwa heri. Kwa hiyo sisi Bwana Spika, siku ya leo tukiwa maseneta sisi wote seneta 47 na wale wengine 20 tukua seneta 67, tunaambia watu wa Nyanza, watu wa ile Western na kona sote, sisi tumeleta rambirambi zetu tukisema ni pole. Kwa hivyo sisi kama Raila ameenda vizuri, ametuunganisha.
Senator, asante. Senator Hamida Kibwana.
Asante Bwana Spika. Na mimi naomba nitoe nisome sala ya kumbukumbu ya kwa heshima kwa marehemu Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Baba wa taifa wa demokrasia ya Kenya. Leo Kenya inalia kuondoka kwa mwana wa pekee, mzalendo wa kweli na kiongozi aliyetoa maisha yake yote kwa ajili ya nchi yake, Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Ni vigumu kuamini kwamba sauti yake imenyamaza. Mikono yake haipo tena kutuongoza, na uso wake wenye matumaini hautaonekana tena mbele yetu. Baba Raila Odinga hakuwa mwanasiasa tu. Alikuwa mfumo wa imani na matumaini, nguzo ya haki na dira ya kizazi kilichotamani kuona Kenya yenye usawa wa demokrasia. Alituonyesha kwamba siasa si uhasama, bali ni huduma, kwamba mamlaka si heshima, bali ni jukumu. Nitamkumbuka baba kuwa mtu aliyeishi kwa imani, aliamini katika haki, na alijitolea kwa kila tone la nguvu aliyokuwa nalo ili kubadilisha Kenya. Alikuwa kiongozi mlezi, mshauri, na zaidi ya yote baba wa taifa wa demokrasia. Tunampumzisha leo. Tunapomzika, tusimlilie kama aliyepotea, bali tumsherekee kama aliyeshinda, kwa sababu kweli baba Raila Amolo Odinga alishinda. Alishinda hofu, alishinda ukimya, na alishinda vizuizi vingi vilivyowekwa mbele yake. Urithi wake utabaki hai katika historia ya Kenya, katika mioyo ya vizazi vijavyo, na katika mioyo ya wale wote walioguswa na ujasiri wake. Pumzika kwa amani baba. Mwana wa Cheng wa Opondo Farm, shujaa wa watu, umetutimizia wajibu wako kwa taifa hili. Kenya haitakuwa vile vile bila wewe baba, lakini itakuwa bora kwa sababu uliishi. Bwana Spika, ya kwangu tu niseme baba Raila Odinga aliniamini nikiwa mdogo, kwa tangu nikiwa miaka 27, kuwa mtaalamu wa uchaguzi wake miaka yote, na nilifanya kazi hiyo yake, na hata kunishawishi kutoka kazi kwa UNP kuweza kuongoza uchaguzi wake wa urais kwa miaka 2015, 2017 na miaka 2022. Namshukuru kwa yeye kuniteua mahali nipo, na juzi akaniteua kuwa bodi ya uchaguzi na kusema kuwa hamna mtu mwingine anaweza kusimamia uchaguzi vizuri kwa hile experience Hamida yuko nayo. Juzi nataka kushare tu, juzi baba alinipigia kushinda jana, amefariki juzi.
Muongezee dakika moja.
Kunipigia, na yeye ndo alinipigia, nikasema baba ni mgonjwa na sielewi ni kwa nini, nikafikiria hata ni security wake amenipigia. Akaniambia, Hamida, ni mimi nimekupigia. Na mimi narudi nyumbani. Alikuwa ameniachia kazi yake nifanye. Niuliza, hiyo kazi umeniandalia? Nikamwambia, sikuandaa tu, hata haitokuwa hotelini, nitaifanya kwako nyumbani. Akarudi akacheka, akaniambia, Hamida, I'm coming home and fantastic. I'm so grateful for what you have done, but I'm coming home. Tuliongea kwa nusu saa nzima hiyo juzi, na ndio jana yake akaweza kutuacha. Mimi namwombea Mungu amlaze mahali pema, na ndugu na mama Aida pia Mungu ampe nguvu, na watoto na kaka yetu Seneta Uburu na wote. Lakini nitasema familia kubwa ni wa Kenya, tumefiwa. Baba lala salama. Asante.
Senator Esther Okenyuri.
Asante sana Bwana Spika. Nami ningependa kuunga hoja hii kwanza kwa kutoa risala zangu za rambirambi ziwaendee wa Kenya, mjane wake ambaye ameondoka Mheshimiwa Raila, watoto, jamaa na ndugu yetu hapa Dr. Uburu ambaye pia amefiwa ndugu yake, Bwana Spika. Pili, ningependa kusema kuwa ulimwengu huu ni jukwaa. Sisi ambao tupo ni wachezaji tu, na kila mtu ana nafasi yake. Nafasi ya aliyekuwa waziri mkuu na kiongozi wa upinzani kwa muda mrefu ilikuwa imefika, na tungependa kuomba kuwa Mwenyezi Mungu amweke mahali pema peponi. Lakini sisi kama viongozi ambao tunaendelea kuwa katika uongozi huu, tunafaa kujifunza mambo machache hapa na pale. Raila Odinga hakuwa mtu ambaye alikuwa anaogopa kukosolewa, na wakati mwingi alikuwa akikosolewa na kimya. Raila Odinga pia alikuwa mtu ambaye alifungwa bila hata kufunguliwa mashtaka, na hakuweka hiyo moyoni, bali alijiunga na viongozi wale ambao walikuwa wanapingana naye na kuendelea mbele. Bwana Spika, sisi kama viongozi wa sasa hivi tunafaa kuwa na maadili kama hayo. Tunamkumbuka kama ambaye alipigania ugatuzi na akapigania uhuru wa sheria na katiba hii ambayo tunayo. Na ni tumaini langu kuwa sisi kama viongozi na vizazi vijavyo vitazidi kuongozwa kupitia sheria na katiba ambayo ambaye ameondoka Raila Odinga alikuwa anayasimamia. Singependa kuzungumza mengi, lakini kwa kipindi kifupi ambacho nimefanya siasa, hizo ndizo hulka za Raila Odinga ambazo nilizipenda kutoka kwake, na tutazidi kujifunza mengi kwa kazi na misingi ile ambayo atakuwa ameiacha kwa sasa hivi. Asante sana Bwana Spika.
Senator Andrew Mtata.
Mr. Speaker, sir, it's with a heavy heart that I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to mourn the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, a man I voted for every time he ran for president. Mr. Speaker, sir, I don't know how to mourn Raila. I don't know whether to mourn him as a statesman, to mourn him as a forgiving, focused human being, to mourn him as the enigma that he was celebrated to be. I don't know how to mourn him, but I know how to celebrate him as a man who stood for something. Even when he was wrong, he was decisive. As a man who saw the bigger picture, epitomized by his statement that Kibaki tosha. A man who was blocked in very many ways from achieving his dreams through underhand deals. And the same things that were done to him in life seem to be following death. I've just seen reports that mourners have been tear-gassed at Kasarani. If you look at the preparation for his funeral, it's not well coordinated. I would have expected much better planning than what we are seeing. The spontaneous mourning that has come out from the bereaved public, with proper planning, would have been managed into something better, whereby we did not have to see tear gas on the day people are mourning the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. That will take into consideration the fact that this man was loved and the crowd should be big. Even the failure to get him into this parliament is a very sad statement that condemns the lack of planning that seems to underpin our public lives. And the tear gas happy, whoever is lobbying those tear gas, will restrict themselves so that we can give Raila a dignified send-off. Not a send-off that is mad. But they have walked the whole way from Mombasa, from the airport along Mombasa way into to Kasarani, all those kilometers. They have not harmed anybody. So I really condemn that act. As I go back to thank God for the life of Raila, for both his successes and his, and every time he rose up from his failures, he gave us hope that there's always a second chance in life, human being. And I pray to the Almighty God to look down with favor upon him, have mercy on his soul, and receive him in including our brother, Senator Uhuru. And I pray for those who depended on him politically, that there will be order in all those domains after he's gone. And I hope that ODM will remain an institution. And those who have been left behind for this political party which has been around for 20 years, please do not destroy that party due to personal ambitions or personal greed. Let the party survive, because one of the biggest problems we have had in this country is the lack of consistency in political parties, where political parties come and go like dew in the morning sun. Mr. Speaker, sir, I pray for this country that the absence of Raila may not lead to the downfall of
Senator Hilary Sigay.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also pay my tributes to the fallen hero of this wonderful country called Kenya. Mr. Speaker, yesterday was such a sorrowful day. It was a sad day, not only for the immediate family of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, but for the rest of us as a country, as a community, and the whole world indeed felt the pain on the loss of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the people of the great county of Bomet, who out of the democratic space that we are celebrating and that we are enjoying right now, they gave me the opportunity to sit in this house. It is that democratic space that we enjoy, that we have gotten the opportunity to have representation here in this house. It is that space, Mr. Speaker, that the Right Honorable Amolo Odinga created for very many, not only those who subscribed to his political space or his political party, but to the people of this great country. We know of very many incidences and examples where he has sacrificed his personal interest. Of his political party, which for a very long time has been not just a political party, but a movement that has always entirely relied on his wisdom, on his sacrifice, and the direction that he has given, that we celebrate that particular space of democracy right now in Kenya. The loss of him, therefore, Mr. Speaker, is not only to his family, it's not only to his community, not only to the party, but to the rest of us. We feel the pain that his immediate family is going through, that our colleague, Senator Uhuru, we have lost a great man. We have lost a leader, and a leader of many generations to come. How I pray, Mr. Speaker, that even as we plan to put him to rest, his contributions shall not go in vain in ensuring that we continue to support the space that is created in the political environment. We continue to celebrate and to emulate the sacrifices that he made as a leader, as a political leader, as a family man, and as a Kenyan, so that we achieve the spirit that we live beyond. To say that the person of Raila Odinga could have left us now and is on his way to be interred, ultimately. The spirit that he has left behind, the future that he had, Mr. Speaker, we pray that we live up to it. And it is a golden opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to ask as of ourselves as Kenyans, as leaders who are living today, who have the opportunity to lead today, to emulate that kind of leadership. And Mr. Speaker, to ask that the unity of purpose, the commitment that he gave to the leadership of this country and to the aspirations that he had can come out of those of us who are left behind, so that we live to protect this country called Kenya, because we don't have another Kenya. This is the only country we have, and we've got to live to the spirits of the Right Honorable Amolo Odinga. Mr. Speaker, he will remain forever in the hearts of very many Kenyans in the political space. And I can only say, Mr. Speaker, as I end, that there can only be one Baba. There can only be one Baba, Raila Amolo Odinga. May his soul rest in eternal peace. May his family find peace. And may everyone else who is grieving for his loss find it easy in their hearts as we put him to rest. Mr. Speaker, thank you, and may he rest in eternal peace.
Honorable Senators, I call the mover to reply. Honorable Senators, there is a situation. Honorable Senators, if you could please, it is for your own safety. It is for your own safety.
Honorable members, please. It's for our own safety. The Speaker, I reply. I thank you.
Honorable Senators, I put the question, aware that His Excellency the President issued a proclamation. Honorable Senators, His Excellency the President issued a proclamation of Wednesday, 15th October 2025, communicating the passing on of the retired Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, AGH, former Prime Minister. Further aware that the late Right Honorable Amolo Odinga served as the Prime Minister of the Republic of Kenya between 2008 and 2013, and previously held various senior positions in government, including Cabinet Minister for Energy, Roads, Public Works and Housing, and as a long-serving member of Parliament for Langata constituency, serving 4 consecutive parliamentary terms from 1992 to 2013. noting that the late Odinga distinguished public service career spanned over 4 decades, during which they played a pivotal role in Kenya's transition to multi-party democracy, the advancement of constitutional reforms, and the deepening of good governance, accountability, and inclusivity leadership. Appreciating his lifelong commitment to the ideals of democracy, freedom, and justice, his central role in the enactment of the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, his tireless advocacy for devolution and equitable development, his dedication to reconciliation and peace building through the 2008 National Accord and Reconciliation Act. Further appreciating his passion for unifying African countrymen in Africa, he championed regional integration, cross-border infrastructure, connectivity, and the continent's social-economic advancement. Recognizing that the late Odinga stood as a symbol of resilience and courage, dedicating his life to the struggle for democratic space, social justice, and social and economic transformation, youth empowerment, national unity, even in the face of great personal sacrifice, and his enduring legacy as a visionary statesman, sorrow, and conviction.